everyone, and welcome back to JFK, where we'll be catching a flight to London tonight with Virgin Atlantic. Virgin utilizes Terminal 4, and since I'm flying economy this evening, I'll need to use the self-service kiosk to check my bag. This ended up being quick and easy, and there were plenty of staff on hand to help with using the kiosk. This whole process ended up taking me only about 5 minutes. After check-in, I headed towards security, and this is where things got a bit strange. Instead of lining up for the normal security queues like I've done a million times before, I was directed to follow a group of people heading downstairs into sort of a security screening annex area, which I didn't even know existed. While unorthodox, this ended up saving me a lot of time, and before I knew it, I was through security and up in the departures building. Lounge access isn't included with my ticket, but there are a number of priority pass lounges in Terminal 4, including the wonderful Chase Sapphire Lounge. Unfortunately though, the Chase Lounge was very crowded this evening, so I had to go to Plan B, which was the Air India Lounge. I've always found this to be a very solid lounge. Yes, it's not the biggest or most elaborate, but I've always been able to get a table right away, and they have a reasonable selection of hot and cold food. I had a quick bite to eat since I skipped lunch, and then I headed out to do some plane spotting. Tonight I'll be traveling aboard this 787-9 to London Heathrow. Virgin has 17 Dreamliners in their fleet, and this plane, nicknamed Mischief, is almost 10 years old. That means that it won't have the latest and greatest cabins that you'll find on their newer A330neos and A350s, but I'm still looking forward to this flight. Boarding began right on time, and the whole process was smooth and orderly. Tonight I'll be sitting in seat 61A. In total, there's 258 seats on this plane, 31 in business class, 35 in premium economy, and 192 seats back here in standard economy. When we got to our seats, there was a blanket, a pillow, and a pair of headphones waiting for us. Overall, the seat was just okay. The headrest was adjustable, it reclined, there was a universal outlet underneath the seat, the tray table was a decent size, and the IFE screen worked well and had a USB port. I was also happy to see that there were individual air vents and reading lights too. On the other hand though, the seat back pockets were a bit small and the open sides meant that things had a tendency to fall out. The legroom was fine, but there was a box for the IFE system underneath the seat which cuts into your foot space. I knew this ahead of time, so I made sure to stick my bag in the overhead bin as soon as I got on board, instead of putting it beneath the seat like I normally do. This was a good move as bin space quickly ran out since this was a completely full flight. The crew handled this well though, and in one instance an elderly passenger approached the flight attendant and voiced her frustration about not being able to store her bag in the overhead bins. Considering this was a full flight, it would have been easy to imagine the flight attendant to be dismissive or even begrudgingly help the old lady, but this flight attendant was genuinely sympathetic and was happy to help find a place for her bag. Eventually everyone found their seats and we managed to push back from the gate on time.
Flight time today, 6 hours 10 minutes, should get us into Heathrow easily on schedule, if not a little early, depending on the taxi times here at Kennedy this evening. Joining on flight deck this evening, Senior First Officer Sivan Tahiri, and in charge of the cabin is the very wonderful Flight Service Manager Casper. I'm flying the aircraft. I'll get back to you as we approach London with an update on the arrival time and weather. In the meantime, sit back and enjoy the flight. Thank you.
Virgin was the first European airline to operate the 787 and has been flying this plane since 2014. Currently, their fleet is comprised of the 787, A350, and the A330-300 and 900, and they operate all of these planes between New York and London. the captain, tonight's flight time to London will be about 6 hours, and shortly after reaching cruising altitude, the crew got to work with the snack service. Everyone received a pack of crunchy corn and a drink of our choice. And then the crew served dinner a little while later. For our entree, we had a choice between Mexican chicken and vegetarian pasta, and I decided to go with the chicken. This was served with a side salad, a bread roll, cheese and crackers, and some chocolate pudding for dessert. Overall, this was a nice meal. I enjoyed the chicken, and I felt nice and full once I was done eating. The crew cleared everything away and served tea and coffee, but I skipped that and decided to freshen up in the lavatory. There are 6 lavatories in the economy class cabin, and they were kept nice and clean throughout the entire flight. When I sat down again, I decided to recline my seat and settle in for the rest of the flight. In my opinion, the recline was a bit too generous since when the seat in front of me was fully reclined, it really restricted my legroom. I only reclined my own seat about halfway and was perfectly comfortable. Next, I decided to take a closer look at the IFE system. The system itself wasn't as nice as the ones you'll find on Virgin's newer planes, but it still got the job done. There was a nice selection of movies and TV shows, and I had no trouble finding something to watch. Although there were quite a few commercials before each program started, this plane was also equipped with Wi-Fi, and you could purchase packages if you wanted to surf the web. I spent the next couple of hours watching movies and relaxing. The crew came around from time to time handing out water, which was really nice. The cabin lights were brightened about 2 hours before landing, and the crew handed out the second meal. Everyone received one of these boxes along with an oatmeal cookie. And inside the box there was some yogurt and fruit. Once the final meal was cleared away, the crew began to prep the cabin for landing. I booked this flight for 10,000 miles plus an additional $152, and I enjoyed it overall. While the cabin wasn't as nice as the ones on Virgin's new A350s and A330neos, it was perfectly fine for this flight across the Atlantic. The crew were also fantastic, and I enjoyed the meals.
United Kingdom and London's Heathrow Airport. The local time is just got 10 to 9 in the morning. We really hope you enjoyed your time on board with us throughout the night.
And that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and let me know below if you've ever flown on Virgin 787. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.